Today, we're going to talk about something you probably see as a flaw, the fact that you have way too many interests. We're going to explore why this so-called scattered nature is actually your greatest strength in the world we live in right now.
I mean, just take a look around your room or even just inside your own head. Is there a guitar in the corner just collecting dust? A half-coded website you were obsessed with for, what, a month? Maybe a bunch of baking tools you used like twice. If any of that sounds familiar, you probably know that specific kind of shame, that nagging thought that you're just chaotic and you can't focus.
And this is the phrase, isn't it? This is the one we use to beat ourselves up. We hear it playing on a loop in our own minds, telling us we can't just pick one thing and stick with it. It feels like a fundamental failure.
But here's the thing, that's not the full quote. The complete thought is actually incredibly empowering. It suggests that having a whole range of skills is a hidden advantage, and that's what we're going to dig into, how your supposed weakness is actually a highly adaptive cognitive superpower.
Okay, so to really get why you feel this anxiety about being all over the place, we first have to look at the world we were all taught we needed to succeed in, a world that had a very, very specific blueprint for success.
The model for the entire 20th century was all about hyper-specialization. You know the drill. Pick a career, become the expert, and just climb that one single ladder. Success was vertical, just like the letter I, one deep pillar of expertise. And look, this I-shaped model worked perfectly in what's called a kinds learning environment. A great example is golf. The rules are totally stable, the physics are consistent. If you practice your swing for 10,000 hours, you are absolutely guaranteed to get better. It's predictable, simple. But here's the crucial point. You do not live in that world anymore, not even close. And deep down, your brain knows the game has changed, and that old strategy just isn't safe anymore.
See, we now live in a wicked environment, and that's a world where the rules are constantly changing, often while you're right in the middle of playing the game. What worked yesterday might be completely useless tomorrow. And this is where the danger of being a hyper-specialist really shows up. If your entire identity, your entire income, is tied to that one deep skill, and then that skill gets disrupted by new tech or a shift in the economy, well, you become incredibly fragile. So, this brings us to you. Your tendency to jump from one interest to another, from learning electrical wiring one year to DJing the next, that isn't a character flaw. It's your brain unconsciously building a totally different and, frankly, more resilient kind of mental architecture. The magic behind this is a concept from psychology called far transfer. Now, specialists are great at what's called near transfer, solving familiar problems with familiar tools. But you, the polymath, you excel at far transfer. You're the one connecting ideas from completely separate worlds. Let's make this totally real for a second. Imagine a web developer who used to be a farmer. That experience on the farm gives them this intuitive grasp of organic systems and growth cycles that a pure coder would just never have. They aren't just writing code, they're literally cultivating a digital ecosystem. Now that is innovation. So it's time to forget that I-shaped model. You're not built that way, you are M-shaped. You have multiple pillars of depth, and they're all connected by this amazing bridge of curiosity. That M structure is what lets you make those unique connections that nobody else sees. So this is the crucial point right here. Stop judging yourself for not being the best at any one thing. Your superpower isn't your depth, it's your synthesis. It's your ability to stand on that bridge of curiosity and see how everything connects. Now, understanding all this is probably a huge relief, right? But it doesn't really solve the practical problem of burnout. How do you build those pillars of your M without just collapsing under the pressure of trying to do everything all at once? Well, the answer lies in a strategy called serial mastery. So instead of trying to learn data science, write a novel, and start a business all in the same month, you start to see your life in seasons. You give yourself permission to focus deeply on one thing for a set period of time. For example, maybe your 20s were your art and music season. Then your 30s became your programming season. You didn't quit art, you just finished that season of building. And then later, who knows, maybe in your 40s, those skills merge into something totally new, like game design. Okay, there's one final way to frame this that is just incredibly powerful. Your diverse interests aren't just a creative advantage, they are your ultimate survival strategy. In evolutionary biology, the word redundancy is a good thing, a strength, not a waste. For instance, elephants rarely get cancer because they have multiple copies of a cancer-fighting gene. If one fails, another one just takes over. It's a biological safety net.
And your so-called chaotic interests, they are your personal redundancy. Every single skill you pick up, even if you don't master it, is another layer in your safety net. It makes you more adaptable and way more resilient to change.
I mean, just think about it. Who is more unbreakable? The specialist software engineer whose job is threatened by AI? Or the software engineer who also knows how to do electrical wiring, or fix an HVAC motor, or teach English? It's not even a contest. You have a pivot ready to go at all times.
So please stop apologizing for that graveyard of hobbies. Those weren't failures. They were semesters. They were chapters of research in the university of you, and each one added a really valuable skill to your personal toolkit. You really need to internalize this. You were never meant to be just one thing. Your purpose isn't to dig one deep hole. Your purpose is to be the bridge that connects different worlds, worlds that other people can't even see are related. And that is your gift.